Postgraduate Government College for Girls Sector 42, in collaboration with the Gyan think tank, is organizing this very important panel discussion today. And we have among us very distinguished guests. And the topic of this panel discussion, as we all know, is emerging contours of geostrategic flux in the Middle East. It all begins with the MOU signed by the two visionary leaders, Lieutenant General KJ Singh from the Gyan Setu and our principal, Ma'am Binu Dogra ji. And the idea of Lieutenant General Sir was to make a Setu, as the name suggested by the think tank, Gyan Setu. Setu is bridge. So he want to abridge the academia and students with the persons with full of experience, like the career diplomats, ambassadors, and the defense experts. So today, what is expected out of this panel discussion for us students? First, it is about the Middle East. As we know, Middle East has a long history of ethnic and other conflicts. The vast energy resources and maritime choke points like Suez and Strait of Hormuz have triggered competition for control and conflicts. And the discussion will also cover the background, current complexities, and likely way forward in the volatile Middle East. More recently, Gaza ceasefire, sudden regime change in Syria have once again brought the focus back on the region. So the relevant issues would cover the basic primers for basic understanding of nuances of geopolitics, geostrategy, and also geoeconomics. Expert would carry on the discussion on map of current complexities and possible way forward. So we are fortunate enough to have perspectives coming from the former diplomats, UN force commanders, and academicians who have worked extensively on this area. Now I request Lieutenant General KJ Singh to introduce the theme of today's program. Lieutenant General KJ Singh is...
They know me. They know me. They know me. I have been to this college many times. See, good morning, friends. Good morning, sir. जय हिंद. ठंड तो नहीं लग रही है? जो पिछली बार हमने ट्रीटमेंट किया था वो कर सकते हैं. आप सब अपनी मुट्ठियां यहाँ करिए और हम ऐसे करेंगे. जय हिंद, जय हिंद, जय हिंद, जय हिंद, जय हिंद. पिछली बार जब मैंने आपसे बात की थी तो कुछ लोगों ने टोपियां पहनी थी, कुछ ने ग्लव्स पहने हुए थे और सर्दी भी ज़्यादा थी. So we did this drill for about 15 times, and because of that we could feel more comfortable, we could feel more connected. So Mohit ji was right and Mohit ji was not so right also. Now we have moved into discipline and military discipline domain after having done this exercise. So to young children, my sincere request is this, that there is no disconnect between academia and defense forces. There is no disconnect. That's a very artificial kind of disconnect that we have created between ourselves. You know, when I joined the armed forces, every first 1 or 2 years I did a course. I did 2 MPhils, 1-year programs in army. I did an advanced MPhil. Once again, I did 4 1-year courses in army. 4 1-year courses. How much time you spend to do your graduation? 3 years. In NEP it is becoming 4 years. So in that thing I got an MSc in Defense Studies, a MSc in Defense and Management, MPhil in National Security, and one program was so imaginatively designed that we were 100 of us, about 55 or 60 from India, 40 from abroad. All of the rank of brigadier and above, some from IS, some from IPS, some from IFS, and some like us. So, academics is deeply ingrained into armed forces. But having been in academic world for last 7 years in my retired role, I always pray that more discipline gets into our academic world. Because if we do not invest in this younger generation skilling properly, then we are going to lose this wonderful opportunity. This was just to motivate you into what we are doing today. We have put together the most relevant issue that is emerging in front of us. Every day when we open papers, we look at Gaza, we look at Syria, we look at whether oil prices will go up, what kind of problem Houthis will create, will India, Middle East economic corridor will start. There are so many questions in our mind. So we are trying to address that in this roundtable discussion. So we have this, and what we have done is we have requested people to do short and focused presentations in first part. First part is designed specially for you. It's an academic session where one of our senior veterans would tell you how the Middle East is. Please clap for some veterans who are walking in. Please, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So, come please, Ambassador Manbir, please come, take one of the chairs, please. So, in the first part, we will tell you about the geography of the place. So, which will also sensitize you to, in certain ways, to geoeconomics. Then we are going to tell you through an academician what is this all about geoeconomics, geostrategy, geopolitics, and we have Professor Umrao Singh to do that. He is an academician. And he has been teaching defense studies. Ask him if there is any disconnect. There is none. And then we are going to get on and tell you about the demographics. You hear what is Kurd, what is Druze, what is Shia, what is Sunni, what is Alevite, what is, Maronite. So here somebody will try and answer it for you. Then we are going to tell you how the extremist groups have come up over there. And those groups, what is their history, what is their agenda. And this way we will academically set the foundation for you. Somehow our chief guest is in Ludhiana. He's traveling, he's a busy person. So we would have finished our session. This is what I call flexibility. So we said we'll finish this for you. And then when he walks in, we'll have the inaugural part. In inaugural part, we are just looking at hearing Mr. Manish Tiwari, who's himself an expert, who reads nearly a book every month. I have interacted with him in many fora. I have told him for 30 minutes or so, 20, 25 minutes, he will tell you what is his visualization. And we'll also have a good tea. Yes or no? So we'll have good tea. And thereafter we'll have session 2. In session 2, we have another set of experts who will be more flexible. We have an ambassador who's been ambassador in Iran and many other countries. So he is going to address the challenges. Then we have a force commander who has commanded the UN forces in Lebanon. So he is going to tell you how internationally it is looked at. We also have the former Vice Chief of Indian Army, who was hands-on deployed over there. He was the Chief Personnel Officer in a UN mission. So he'll tell you how he looked at it from that level and as Vice Chief. So we have we have tried to put together within the challenges of Chandigarh. So look forward to an interesting day. Try and soak in whatever you can. Whatever slides or any material we have which will show you, we will give it to the college. And we hope that college will circulate it to you all. So are we ready for takeoff? Did you have tea? How many of you are in hostels? So they gave you no breakfast, nothing? घर से भी कुछ नहीं मिला? Are you ready? Yes, sir. Okay, all the best for 7. Thank you.
Now we are moving for our first panel discussion, and I will introduce you with the all panelists for this first discussion.
I have introduced the panelists. You only.
Just introduce Jan Chima.
Okay, all right. So
Jal
the
Bajwa.
session
Yes.
chair is Lieutenant General J.S. Bajwa ji.
Yeah, please clap for him.
And he will introduce the fellow panelist, and I request General Bajwa to kindly start with the panel discussion.
Jal Bajwa may not introduce himself, so I'll introduce him. Jal Bajwa is from Kumaon Regiment. He is second generation, or third generation? Second generation Army officer. He was Director General of Infantry. He also was Chief of Staff of Eastern Command. After retirement, he edited a magazine connected with defense affairs, and he is active in terms of strategic thinking and writing on these issues. So that is General Bajwa.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a mic in front of me to start the session while sitting, but when you sit, then I can't see the last person in the hall, and the impact is much lesser. So therefore, even in the introduction, I thought I'll stand here and speak to you all. And namaskar, and that's what I introduce. That's how I greet people. I've stopped saying good morning and all these funny things. We are in a country where the namaskar and pranam is so it's got such deep meaning. We need to introduce ourselves and greet each other with a namaskar and a pranam, and forget about good mornings. Today's seminar is about analyzing and understanding the turmoil and the volatility in the Middle East region. The seeds of animosity between these communities was sown as early as 1917, when the British, in the Balfour agreement or declaration, actually promised to support the the Israelis and the Jews, that they will be given a homeland. Thereafter, after the war, the League of Nations undertook the mission to support the Palestinians, and the Palestinians in the mandate of the League of Nations granted them a place as a geopolitical entity. So from 1920 to 1948, the state of Palestine existed under called the Palestine Mandate, and it was called the mandatory state. Now, there is so much that has happened after that. And in this first session this morning, as a precursor to the other sessions, we'll be trying to understand the Middle East. The topic will be dealt with by 5 speakers, and I will introduce each speaker before they come onto the stage. After the last presentation, we'll have a small session for question and answers. I'm cutting short all what I'm going to say, or I need to say, or I was entitled to say, to give more chance for you to ask questions and answers and get answers from the speakers. The first speaker that we have today in my session is Colonel Bedi. He's a veteran of the 1971 war, a graduate of the Defense Services Staff College, and he served as instructor class A in a position as a professor at the Military College of Telecom Engineering and the School of Armored Warfare in Ahmednagar to teach electronic warfare and communication support to mechanized forces during war. After retirement, he was served as project director at the Center of Development of Advanced Computing at Mohali, director science at the Pushpa Gujral Science City Kapurthala, and the faculty member of the ICFAI Business School and University. He has a keen interest in following the geopolitical developments across the globe, and he's contributed a number of articles in the Tribune. He will focus on the geopolitical map of the Middle East and will orient us with this region, and the maps you would have seen have already been displayed outside the auditorium. He will acquaint you on the general layout of the terrain and the relief features, and also cover the evolution of the borders of the various states therein. I request Colonel Bedi to take over, please. Thank you.